Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 16. Krishna chastises the serpent Kāliya. It's text 35. Tapaḥ sutaptaṁ kim anena pūrvaṁ nirasta-mānena cha māna-dena dharmo va sarva-janānukampayā yato bhavāṁs tuṣyati sarva-jīvaḥ tapaḥ su-taptam kim anena pūrvaṁ nirasta-mānena cha māna-dena dharmo tava sarva-janānukampayā yato bhavāṁs tuṣyati sarva-jīvaḥ tapaḥ su-taptam kim anena pūrvaṁ nirasta-mānena cha māna-dena dharmo tava sarva-janānukampayā yato bhavāṁs tuṣyati sarva-jīvaḥ tapaḥ, austerity. Su-taptam, properly performed. Kim, what? Anena, by this Kāliya. Pūrvaṁ, in previous lives. Nirasta-mānena, being free from false pride. Cha, and māna-dena, giving respect to others. Dharma, religious duty. Atha, or else. Sarva-jana, to all persons. Anukampayā, with compassion. Yataḥ, by which. Bhavān, your good self. Tuṣyati, is satisfied. Sarva-jīvaḥ, the source of life for all beings. Translation, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Did our husband carefully perform austerities in a previous life with his mind free of pride and full of respect for others? Is that why you're pleased with him? Or did he in some previous existence carefully execute religious duties with compassion for all living beings? Is that why you, the life of all living beings, are now satisfied with him? Responsively, did our husband carefully perform austerities in a previous life with his mind free of pride and full of respect for others? Is that why you are pleased with him? Or did he, in some previous existence, carefully execute religious duties with compassion for all living beings? Is that why you, the life of all living beings, are now satisfied with him? Purport. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada comments in his Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Volume 1, Chapter 16. The Nagapatnis confirm that one cannot come in contact with Krishna without having executed pious activities in devotional service in one's previous lives. As Lord Chaitanya advised in his Shikshashtaka, one has to execute devotional service by humbly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, not expecting honor for oneself, but offering all kinds of honor to others. The Nagapatnis were astonished that although Kāliya had the body of a serpent as the result of grievous sinful activities, at the same time he was in contact with the Lord to the extent that the Lord's lotus feet were touching his hoods. Certainly, this was not the ordinary result of pious activities. These two contradictory facts astonished them. Om Ajnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namaum Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadeshatarane. Let us offer respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees, can fulfill the desires of everyone, and full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we heard beautifully yesterday from Mahatmaji about getting free from envy and jealousy and being humble. So here the Nagapatnis are astonished that Kāliya got such special benediction from Krishna. It's also mentioned that unless one's performed devotional service in the past, generally one does not take up the devotional process. In Bhagavad-Gita is described, Neha Bekaramo Nashyasti Pratyavayana Vidyate Swapam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatobayat. Little advancement on this path of devotional service, Krishna consciousness, can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear, and that fear is going back to the cycle of birth and death, losing the opportunity of human life, and being at the hands of the modes of material nature, because we don't know, due to our activities, where we're going to end up. Just like King Nriga, he performed massive pious activities, wonderful charitable activities as an emperor and a king, so much so that he was highly glorified, Srimad Bhagavatam. But due to a small, what we see as an insignificant oversight, mistake, he was given the option: do you want to enjoy the results of all your pious activities, or just take care of the impious activity? So King Nriga said, okay, I made a mistake, so let me suffer that, and then I can have unlimited happiness. So he became a lizard. So you would think, how is that possible? Somebody who's so charitable and so magnanimous and broad-minded and only thinking of good, unintentionally some mistake may have come. Wasn't like he was enviously trying to trick the brahmanas. There was some, you can read the story in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But still, he came as a lizard, but he was fortunate that Krishna also liberated and benedicted him. So the Nagapatnis were curious to know whether their lord or their husband was executing devotional service in a humble state of mind, chanting the holy name of the Lord, thinking himself lowered in a straw in the street, not expecting honor for himself and offering all kinds of honor to others. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's super magic formula comes into effect here. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina māna-dena kirtaniya sadahari. Because the essence of all religion, all philosophy, all mental speculation, all austerities, performances of sacrifices, whatever activities anyone is performing in this world ultimately culminate in taking shelter of the Lord's holy name, because Krishna is present and Krishna is very happy and pleased when we're calling out his name. Because as instructed by Rupa Goswami, Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam Jiva Vegam Udara Pasta Vegam, that the idea of making spiritual advancement only comes by learning to control the mind and the senses. There's the whole yoga system. Here the Nagapatnis were inquiring, maybe he was performing this kind of austerity. He wasn't expecting any honor in return because of his accomplishments in nicely chanting 64, 124, 300,000 names of the Lord. I'm in my cave chanting, In case you didn't know, I'll give the directions to my cave. You can see me chanting. So it's explained in here that we should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, ready to offer all respect to others, because this is the biggest problem we all have in this world, is attachment to our ego. And that false ego has been molded and cultivated by our activities that we've performed through many, many, many lifetimes. Fortunately, Krishna's allowed Mother Nature to give us this very golden opportunity of a human form of life, because all other species of living entities, they have no opportunity to ask, what is the purpose of my life? What am I doing here in this world? And the fear of death. Everyone is fearful of death, no matter how much they may say that, no, I'm not afraid. But this death, because we don't know. But a devotee who takes shelter of the Lord by chanting his holy names, he becomes fearless. Abhaya Charanaravinda, Srila Prabhupada, fearless. How can a person come to a foreign country at such an advanced age and try to establish a spiritual revolution to change the lives of people who are addicted to intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, meat eating? Their whole life is centered around that. Everyone's life is centered around sense gratification, whether it's personal or for my family. Why are you working so hard day and night? Prabhupada would say that sometimes they would ride on the trains hanging on the outside for dear life. You see people hanging off the trains, or they would take a flight for a couple hours somewhere and then work and then fly back. And everyone is working very hard. For what reason? Maituniagra, because they want to gratify their senses. Sentimentally, they want to take care of the family, the community. They want to represent the society. So these false ego, this idea of enjoying in this world, is very complicated. So the laws of karma are very complicated. Karmana daivana trena. So we need faith. Some faith We have to muster up the beginning of because most people want to believe their own mental speculation, their gymnastics of what they think life's all about. But if someone's a better logician or explains the truth according to his concept in a better way, defeating someone else, there are so many munis and yogis. And every civilized nation has a form of religion and or respect of God. Even the Aborigines, those who are primitive, they can understand there's lightning or the great mountain, or they know there's something behind the forces of Mother Nature, so they have their own sort of worship. So, not that we necessarily perform devotional service in our previous life. Most likely it's saying that no one can take up devotional service unless they perform some devotional service, but also the pure devotee can make your good fortune. Srila Prabhupada, by the order of the Guru Parampara and Chaitanya's special mercy, he came with a lot of fruit, love of God, and he didn't want to go back, so he decided, no, all of you go out and distribute this love of God. So we were made fortunate by this Krishna consciousness movement. Srila Prabhupada is this Krishna consciousness movement in the form of his temples, his teachings, the process of sadhana bhakti. This is the beginning of devotional service. Because like a small child, a little boy has the inherent nature of being able to walk. With a little practice and a little guidance, the child walks, runs, jumps. After a while, there's a natural ability that's awakened. So this Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, this love for Krishna, is there in our heart, but it's covered over. Our intelligence, we're Sat Chit Ananda, we're full of knowledge, full of bliss. As Krishna, we have an enjoying spirit. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. But we also have that. So to awaken Krishna consciousness, with a little practice, it's possible. And the practice comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing, Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadevagni Nirvapanam Shekairava Chandrakavitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam, that we have to clean the heart. If the mirror is all dusty, you cannot see yourself. So the heart is a mirror to our true existence, our eternal existence in the spiritual world. We're all confined in this material world, like being in a prison house. Some are considered first-class prisoners, second-class, third-class, some are in solitary confinement. In the insanity of thinking there's any happiness in the prison house is the basic problem of material existence. But we're given an opportunity by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Guru Parampara, with little faith, by seeing Prabhupada, his love and compassion, and seeing his determination. We were hearing yesterday how Prabhupada always wanted to encourage his devotees and bring them back to Krishna consciousness, and feeling sad in the sense of a person not or leaving Krishna consciousness, losing this great opportunity. It's a golden opportunity. And many people use that in marketing. But this is our golden opportunity to strike up that spark, which is almost not glowing and not resonating on any level other than me, my, my family, and what's in it for me? How do I actually benefit by following rules and regulations? But we have to have that good sense that the sadhana bhakti, this controlling the mind, controlling the senses, comes by the order of the spiritual master. We have to have enough faith. It's not that out of sentiment or that we're just, as a hobby, we're going to take up a spiritual master. Now it's okay, I'm initiated, I'm good. Initiation means the beginning. It's the beginning point of working on ourselves, because everyone has difficulty with the mind. Arjuna had difficulty. He said, it's more difficult to control my mind than the raging wind. And if the senses are always burning, the eyes want to see the beautiful forms, you want to smell something, touch, and you want to, and also speaking immediately when people come together. What is the latest gossip? Or what are the politics? What's happening? What's happening? Tell me, what's going on? And so, unfortunately, if we don't carefully choose our association, it becomes even more difficult to control the mind and senses, because we're instigated, or we're kind of driven by others, because those who are lusty and greedy and just trying to accumulate, hoarding as much, accumulating more than necessary. And this is everyone's position. The capitalist wants more and more money. The communists, they want to control everything for the state, but we're in charge of the state. So in the same sense, they want to still control. They're still managers in the communistic ideas. And the more people are hoarding, wanting, it's causing misery, it's causing war, pain and suffering. But if we see that Krishna, Bhoktarang Jagatapasang Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, instead of thinking, this is my country, when you get to the shore of the ocean, well, who does the ocean belong to? Well, we can also take a piece of that as well geographically. So everyone is thinking that this world belongs to us, and we can utilize it and squeeze out whatever happiness we can squeeze. But there's no happiness in material life. There's no happiness in all the endeavors of the greatest capitalists, the greatest humanitarian people. Here it's describing maybe that he performed very pious activities, unselfishly helping those. So we have that natural spirit. Krishna is very kind, very compassionate. He sees we're suffering, but doesn't interfere with our independence. You want to enjoy? I'll create the whole material world for you. Not only one universe, billions of universes. You can go to heaven, you can go to hell. You can have any form, a demigod body, a pig's body, a microbe. I see a little tiny ant crawling in the Bhagavatam here. So he's fortunate, he's on the Bhagavatam. So these are the situation in this material world that Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. That by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, we're given this a chance, the opportunity to take up devotional service. We shouldn't think, due to my previous credits and my magnanimous disposition, that I've been awarded this opportunity of a human life, born in a good family, Brahmin family. If one performs good work, he can elevate himself, and obviously. But here it seems that Krishna gave special mercy to Kāliya, and I'm sure there's a whole in-depth history. It's pretty amazing when we hear some classes. Mother Devi Shakti, when she gives a class, she gives you in-depth picture of the personalities, what they did and how they did to come to the position that they're in. So much history is there and so much detail. But we should know for certain that if we're reading and hearing Bhagavatam every single day, Nityang Bhagavata Nasta Prayeshu Abhadeshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya, that by serving the Bhagavatam, this is service. Hearing is service. Right now, everyone's performing service because you're giving your oral reception. You want to hear maybe something that'll inspire us to do our sadhana bhakti better. Just like the Guru says that you get up early in the morning, you take bath, you come and you dress the deity or you offer the artik and perform your duties. And one who is somewhat conscious and obedient, he follows the order of the spiritual master, although he may not do it spontaneously. But by following the prescribed method of sadhana bhakti, of chanting with humility, without offenses, then one naturally starts thinking of creative ways of providing beautiful dresses for the deities, polishing the silver so it shines, and with love and devotion, feeling that I want to do that, I want to do it. And it's not that my guru is telling me. If we're living in the ashram of the guru, it's for disciplinary purposes. It's not just simply a free hotel. It's a nice place to be. It's actually meant for enthusiastically performing devotional service. Prabhupada didn't like lazy mentality. Even when it came to sleep, he thought, oh, wasting time. One should not waste time. If you have time, chant the Mahamantra. You should make time to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, nectar of devotion, nectar of destruction, not destruction, nectar of instruction. Right now we're doing the nectar of destruction. We're destroying our opportunity to utilize this wonderful vehicle to transport us back home, back to the spiritual world. So we should have that faith. We should not think that, oh, this was a nice scheme thought up by great sages for millions of years, but actually it's just to distract or bewilder the minds of those who are really trying to enjoy in this world. Just imagine Ravana. He said Prabhupada said his brother was in Brazil, that his idea was that he brought gold, lots of gold from Brazil, and made Lanka a city of gold. He told people that, why are you performing austerities and sacrifices? You want to go to heaven? I'm going to build a staircase, stairway to heaven. Even a rock and roll band knows that one. This is Stairway to Heaven. So people are thinking that there's a way of avoiding, submission to God or following rules and regulations. And as a matter of fact, there are so many rules, so many ceremonies and regulations and do's and do-nots that people often throw in the towel before they even start the battle. If you've ever seen a fight and somebody's getting beaten very badly, the manager will throw in the towel. That means that we want to stop the fight. So before we even attempt to follow no intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, sometimes they make it sound like so simple. Only 4 rules, but these are huge, huge rules. Because our whole life is centered around those 4 pillars. This is our idea of enjoyment. Work hard, make money, have relationships. Everyone's looking for pleasure, some kind of relationship. But this param drishtva nivartate, this special mercy and blessing of the Lord, like the Lord was dancing on the hoods of Kāliya, so Radha and Krishna can dance on our tongues. We heard that japa class. I heard little pieces of it. I didn't attend that one. But Mahatma Prabhu is going to also give you a japa class to see the importance of respecting the holy name in such a way that actually you perceive Krishna in your life. That when you're in any condition of life, whether you're happy or sad, fearful, anxious, ecstatic, take shelter of Krishna's holy name, because that name is invested with all the potencies of the Lord. So we don't have a taste. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he admitted, yes, although you have so many names, all the power is there, but I don't have a taste for the holy name. You ever find it difficult? The mind is too restless to take the beads and chant. Oh, I got to do this, I have that to do, and maybe if I do something else to distract myself, the chanting will go faster. So focusing the mind on Krishna's name and praying to the Lord to give you that intelligence, it's a great accomplishment. Then our behavior with one another, because in material world people are exploitive, envious, and jealous of one another. One who's a neophyte, Kanishta-adhikari, pretty much most of us, I'm sure there's some very exalted Vaishnavas here, but we all start in the Kanishta platform, on the beginning platform, sadhana bhakti. And Kanishta, we're doing our deity worship, or we're performing our duty, but we don't respect others. We don't really appreciate. It says that anyone who's even chanting the holy name of the Lord, receive Harinam, you should offer respect to them, that actually they've taken shelter of the Lord. And then seeing someone who's exceptionally enthusiastic and performing their service very nicely, you should want their association. What to speak of a Mahabhagavat like Srila Prabhupada, and all the Mahabhagavatas in the Srimad Bhagavatam. If we're looking for beautiful prayers, beautiful samples of how to glorify the Lord. So yama, niyama, the prescribed rules and regulations are simply meant to keep us in line so we don't drift off in our mental speculations or our own concocted ideas of how to become happy. And if we commit offenses to the holy name or others, that destroys the bhakti lata bij, then it'll never go from sadhana, vaidhi bhakti, to the platform of raganuga. Raganuga is something not very cheap. It's not something cheap that, oh yes, I want to live in Radhakund and every day see the manjaris and gopis and read all the esoteric literatures of the Goswamis, make very, very rapid advancement. Because unless one has a strong foundation, the house collapses. And the foundation is built by following the order of the spiritual master and very carefully being very cautious to always serve in mood of service and appreciation of others, because that destroys the false ego, the arrogance and the pride that everything's for me, my benefit. Long conditioning is there, but by enthusiastic chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting Lord's holy name and learning the intricacies, if you attend Mahatma Prabhu's class, we're like from the same city, so we have to promote each other, No, but Mahatma Prabhu is doing a class for the benefit of all. I remember when Jayapataka Maharaj came here many, many years ago, and he did a japa. We had different groups of people doing their japa, and he would go from person to person and give instruction, guidance, and encouragement. So this is just this is our encouragement. We want to learn, we want to hear, we want to understand how to fine-tune our own devotional service to the point where this raganuga spontaneously develops, like the little child is walking, falling down, crawling, but with proper guidance, and he builds the muscles, and then he can climb the mountain, no problem. So we can feel parang drishtva nivartate, the presence of the Lord, and we can feel our own strength developing. If you're hungry, feeling emaciated and struggling, and then you have a nice prasadam meal, and the more and more you honor that prasadam, the more your strength and vitality return. No one has to tell you, you yourself know, I'm being satisfied, I'm feeling satisfied. But it all begins with the basic rules and regulations of not criticizing others, showing respect to one another, and living in friendship. Because Prabhupada wanted that we can show our love for him by our cooperation, how to work together. It's not easy. We have many varieties of personalities here from all over the world, different cultures, different traditions, different families. And this is the beauty of the Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada made a house where the whole world can live together. But the spirit of preaching, just like we just finished our book marathon in December, but everyone was very eager that how we can also participate in giving this knowledge of Krishna consciousness to others. And that helps very much in our own cleansing process of sadhana bhakti, the eagerness to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. Krishna said, there's no one more dear to me than that person who is giving knowledge of myself to the devotees. And also, I mean, everyone is a devotee. Some are more covered than others. Some are covered by demonic mentality and demonic bodies, but they're actually devotees. Krishna doesn't have any real combatants or challengers, or there's someone who's going to, take over the kingdom of the spiritual world, and then what's going to happen? No, Krishna, He's created everyone and everything. And we say created, but we've always existed along with Krishna. It's hard to conceptualize because we're so much caught up in our time ideas of beginning and end. But what did Krishna say to Arjuna? All these kings, everyone, we've all existed in the past, we're existing right now, we'll continue to exist in the future. So we need to come to that spiritual understanding, and we hope we have other dedicated, like the Nagapatnis were praying for their husband. We hope that we have people praying for us every morning. We hear Janardana Maharaj saying that, oh, this soul, he is suffering. Let us all pray together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haridas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when they were discussing about the suffering of other living entities, said that even if you're chanting the holy name nice and loud, others benefit. You might not understand how, ultimately is benefiting you, but you're doing kara upakara. You're doing real humanitarian work simply by chanting the Lord's name. But that taste will not be there if we're committing offenses and if we're not enthusiastic to very meticulously follow the orders of the spiritual master. So we should again open up the nectar of instruction, not destruction, and read very carefully, because very scientifically Rupa Goswami is describing what are the pitfalls, how to associate with others, how to inquire submissively and hear from them submissively, how to offer prasad and receive prasad, offer gift, receive gifts. We see devotees, they like to give gifts, they like to invite you for prasadam. This is our culture. So these are the beginning elementary procedures, even in the common business world. If a business people want to meet, they book some hotel, they exchange gifts, and they give their ideas, and the other person listens to the ideas. And so these are common practices. So devotional service is awakened by especially following, not accumulating and just wanting more and more and more, being satisfied with what Krishna's arranging. They say if the guru doesn't call you for prasadam, what do? You steal the Mahaprasad anyway, right? No, but it may seem austere and how could the guru forget about my prasad? That's not right. But this humility and this, but the Guru Prabhupada said Krishna does not forget. Krishna knows. He knows everything. Sarva-jana, He's in our heart. It's like, imagine someone knows all your thoughts, all your desires, all your intentions, and all your sinister activities. Krishna knows everything. He's seeing how we're conducting ourselves. What do we really want from this devotional service. And if we're falling short from pure devotional service, then we have to polish and we have to work, not by works, but Krishna gives the enthusiasm. He sees that, oh, this person's enthusiastic, so he'll give you the intelligence. How can I perform my activities in such a way that my spiritual master will be happy? And Prabhupada is happy if we're Krishna conscious, and we are Krishna conscious if we spread Krishna consciousness. But if we're just simply thinking, oh, I'm doing my duty, I'm comfortable, try to get whatever happiness I can get, this is still on the bodily platform, selfish, and it's very limited. We should be broad-minded. Prabhupada is very broad-minded. He said, he was telling someone on a park bench who was an astrologer, I believe, that I have many temples, only time is separating us. All over the world we have established this Krishna consciousness movement. So Srila Prabhupada did it. He gave us this blessing, this opportunity. It's a golden opportunity. What to speak of being born in a human body, maybe due to your previous devotional service or by the great fortune of Krishna and Guru, we're given a chance to chant the holy name and serve the Lord in one of his wonderful temples. What to speak of being able to be sitting in front of Krishna Balaram, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Lalita Vishaka, Radhashama Sundar, Srila Prabhupada, in Sri Vrindavan Dham, where all these wonderful pastimes took place. We should. It's amazing how you can. The Jamuna's right there, and all the different activities of the cowherd boys and the gopis and Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, all the beautiful, loving exchanges of love are right here in our own backyard, as they say. So we should feel gratitude and appreciation for what's been given to us by the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by sending His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we have a few minutes if anyone have any questions, doubts, comments. Maharaj?
Regarding material enjoyment, Prabhupada says, as long as we're not sick and tired of material enjoyment, we will not make advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Who's sick and tired of material enjoyment? I don't see any hands going up.
That means you have to remain in the material world.
Oh.
Prabhupada says also, even if you have a desire to have one rasgulla at the time of death, you have to come back to that.
Even a rasgulla? Think of Burfi instead. Burfi will transport you to this heaven, spiritual world. Nothing? Mahatma, ji.
Kind of answered this in the class, but in the purport it says you have to do devotional service in the past life. So can we understand that if I engage somebody in devotional service, it's also similar because now they've done devotional service, and so now that they've done it, they're eligible to...
He's in your downline, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Rather than... Because otherwise, I'm asking this from the point of view of someone who's giving Krishna consciousness. And, my understanding of my group was always depends on us, like how Krishna conscious the world's going to be. But like you were saying, that depends how advanced the devotee is, how pure they are, because they have a greater effect on people. Mm-hmm. So, is that kind of understand it? The effect of the devotee, and then engaging people, and then he elevates them, so they don't have to wait to the next life. I get it, we give them this now, and they can go forward, and therefore we shouldn't think I'm just going out on the street and find people who already did devotional service in the past.
Yeah, I mean, devotional service is complicated in the sense that, but what you're asking is that even though I may have not performed so much service, but I have encouraged or helped someone, but that is devotional service, by helping someone to understand or come closer to Krishna some way or other. He may take it up by your guidance and by your encouragement. But everything depends on our attitude also. Attitude is very important. What is our intention behind our activities? So if our intention is to help this person in Krishna consciousness, that very act in itself, qualifies you for further advancement because of that proper sentiment, proper mentality. So I believe Marge wants to say something. So I think the attitude is very important. If you really want to make advancement and help others make advancement, that's also connected to the devotional service. Maybe I didn't understand quite everything, but you're too philosophical.
It says, I give you your fortune. You didn't have any pious credit in the past. So whatever we have right now is because Prabhupada made us to be fortunate. Now, if we carry that over, spill over whatever fortune we have, and spread that fortune towards others, ultimately that's coming from sutaptam.
Yes.
But one time Prabhupada said, "You're all devotees in your last life."
You're all devotees in your last life.
And the devotees said, "How could that be? We were breaking all the principles." And Prabhupada said, "That was superficial. But when you heard the holy name, you came running." So it's really significant. It's superficial.
But don't get proud that you were a devotee in your last life, but Prabhupada, right?
But as Maharaj was saying, Prabhupada said, "I created your good fortune." Because you still need that, even if you were devoted, you still need good fortune. And it seems that whether you were or not, if you take it up, then you will have good fortune because you've been given good fortune.
Regardless of how we've come here or come to Krishna consciousness, we should be with great gratitude and appreciation, whether we were what we were in our past lives, but right now we have a wonderful opportunity.
The premise here for Lord Chaitanya's mission is to spread the chanting of the holy name to every town and village around the world. And we can understand by reading the different shastras that spiritual advancement was limited to certain categories of people. Not everyone could perform sacrifices, not everyone could do these austerities, and so therefore it was limited. But Lord Chaitanya wanted everyone in Kāliya to have the opportunity to make spiritual advancement. So therefore, even though we may be a very low-level devotee, or even below that, we go out on the street, we chant Hare Krishna, and someone hears that sound. And this is true also in my case. I just simply heard the chanting of Hare Krishna, and then the seed of devotion gets planted into your heart. And so the person who is chanting, he or she receives great benefit for spreading Lord Chaitanya's mission, and it gives the person who hears that chanting the opportunity for them to also begin their quest for going back.
Nice. Prabhupada said that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati considered one who's not chanting 64 rounds a day to be fallen. And Prabhupada said, yes, everyone's considered fallen in this age. So even though we have a bare minimum of 16 rounds, it's the quality and the active service, by actively serving, and of course always 24 hours a day thinking of how to spread Krishna consciousness, remembering Krishna at all times. So even though we're in a fallen age, in a fallen condition, Lord Chaitanya's mercy is special. Srila Prabhupada's giving us guidance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.